Ready, set, let's go. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up.
So welcome to another episode with the boys, which we have now dubbed Shoot the Breeze. This is episode 2. Let's just get stuck into it. Boys, welcome.
Hello.
That was...
That was intimate.
Happy Friday. Let's kick off, man. Let's kick off. The last fortnight, what have we noticed? I mean...
Nothing like the one before as a start.
Chalk and cheese 2 weeks ago.
You know what? I'll say it once, I'll never say it. I'll never worry when it's slow ever again.
Yeah, that's true.
It makes no sense.
Mate, that second week that it started getting quiet, I was like, all right, if it's one more week of these, we're going to have to start.
I was writing up my cover letters.
I was going to start.
Never know.
I was almost going to start an OnlyFans page, so that's where we're heading. But, mate, it turned on its head. We're scratching our own heads to try to figure out why that is, because you raised a good point about the weather.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been no rain in the last, or give or take, probably week and a half.
Every day.
Yeah,
Since last week, yeah.
It's definitely made, and given enthusiasm, and everyone's sort of getting out and about. We have been inundated this week in particular, more so than last.
Last week was pretty good too, but this week was just insane.
Mate,
I think we're booked out until Wednesday from Friday.
Yeah.
So, you could tell it was going to be a good week, and then it just didn't stop. It just kept going, pretty much.
And we were pretty much slot in the calendar that we could fill. Yeah. We needed to, because obviously that was the client, the client request, I should say. I spoke to one agent, I spoke to 2 agents that were saying, I said to them, things are slow. This is going back last week. I rang them. Things are a bit slow. What's happening? And they said, look, we had so many good months of sales, and this is talking about sales, that they didn't have time to do the harvesting, prospecting, they call it, where they're ringing around trying to get new business. Because their phones were ringing, they didn't have to.
They were focusing on the present.
Yeah, and just, getting the sales done and not really having time to focus on the prospecting. Actually, I spoke to someone else this week that said the same thing. And it was interesting because you see the markets go up and down. You're like, why? Why is it quiet now? Why is it not? And ultimately, you got to keep, from what I've heard them say, you really have to keep planting the seeds. And, you can't just wait for a new crop of properties. You sell them, and all of a sudden you've got nothing. Nothing in the pipeline. So that's probably, I guess, that's a business thing as well, in all types of business.
And if you think about it, sometimes people just want to take, even if it's a small break, they just want to take a break. If you had 3 very good months, and then it goes a bit slow for a bit, you might just say, you know what, let's just relax a couple of weeks, and then we'll go back into it.
Yeah,
I have a very specific example in mind. Yes, it depends on the person too, but that property that we shot that went for $13 million, I see no problem with someone selling a property for $13 million and then saying, you know what, I'm not going to run and get busy straight away.
You don't think so?
Well, I could see why someone would say, you know what, I'll take a week, not a week off, but I'll just, relax, do all the admin stuff and get back to it after that.
Interesting.
You just let it be referral work for the next week or whatever. You don't chase.
Yeah, could be.
You know what the problem is? There's so much lead up time that a week off could be essentially a month, because they work in quarters, obviously, and you take your foot off the pedal for a week or 2. By the time you come back and start that process again, you're not going to see results for potentially another 4, 6, 8 weeks later. So that pause is not just a week off.
And sometimes it's not even a conscious decision. It can just be that you're tired and you're not as quote unquote hungry if you just made a massive sale or a few massive sales. Even if you think at it from our perspective, not as so much the real estate game, because it's a bit different. We're based more on volume and for less money compared to other industries within the photography industry. But with weddings, say you have a couple of months, so you're doing a wedding every week. And we had that happen in the past where you go 2 straight months, 7 days a week. Are you going to and then it gets
Yeah.
slow for a couple of weeks. Is your first thought going to be, I better get on these Google ads. I need to get more bookings. Or are you going to say, finally get the weekend off, you know?
Yeah, everyone's got to switch off at some point.
Exactly, yeah.
But in saying how busy it was, you said something in the last podcast about the higher end properties softening up. And I spoke to a few other clients that said the same thing
Yeah.
in the last week, that properties over that $1,000 a week mark have really dropped off. Shot a property in San Susi well over a month ago, cracker house. I think it was a duplex. I think it was $1,200-$1,300 a week. They still can't put it away. And it's a beautiful place.
Well, at the end of the day, I think that where the disconnect is that even, I get it, the property's worth X amount, the repayments for a mortgage are whatever they are. So the rent should be over $1,000 or $1,300 or $1,400. But at the same time, there's got to be people that can afford to pay that. So I think that's where the disconnect is. And $1,400 or $1,300 a week just for rent is a lot of money.
2 months ago, they were getting that.
Yeah,
3 months ago, they were
2
getting
months ago, yeah.
So it's a shift. Something.
was-
There's a
yeah.
reason for that. Whether
Which was going to happen eventually. What was this whole thing going to? You need $2,000 a week to rent a house or $800 a week to rent a unit? Because that's where I've seen 1 bedrooms go for $550,
yeah,
for example, or $500 a week, 1 bedrooms. So where is that going?
yeah.
Is it going to go more than that? For the time being, I would say probably not.
Look, rental yields are very high at the
yeah.
moment. So, but maybe in that price bracket, it's different. Anything else you guys noticed in the last couple of weeks? You're very quiet.
I'm just trying to think.
No, I'll tell you what I think it is. When you get a week like this, especially this last one, I didn't notice anything. The week just flew by. There's no time for that.
Yeah, true.
Just go in, do the work, repeat pretty much.
The good thing is I noticed it wasn't just rentals or just sales, it was both.
Oh, it's everything, yeah. How many videos did we do this week? I even shot one.
Yeah, that's how busy we were.
Yeah.
I was
Desperate.
So usually we usually average maybe 1 every 3 days, I'd say.
Video.
But this week it was literally 1 a day. On Tuesday I had even 2 a day. So
Yeah.
or 2 that day. So
You said that you ran out of battery on Tuesday.
So
we
day 2. So it was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah.
No,
So
it was
our
Wednesday.
cameras-
It was Wednesday actually.
Was it?
It was Wednesday, but it was like halfway through the day.
And
so I
normally
shot.
we get a full light.
I get a full week. I usually get a full week, but I
That's
shot
photos,
Monday,
not video.
Tuesday. Yeah, I shot Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday I was doing a shoot in Hillsdale. And as I'm shooting, I realize I see the mark. But it's not even 1%. It's when it goes orange,
When it
and
starts
it's 0%. Yeah, that means that the camera is about to die. So I was like, I need to shoot this very. I didn't want to have to go back to the car to grab another battery. So I was like, shoot very
that's so
fast,
annoying,
get it
mate.
done.
That was one of our pet peeves that we said.
Yeah.
Show up to a property and you've got 1%
But it's
battery.
never I can't even remember the last time that this happened to
Yeah.
me. With the battery dying midway through a shoot.
Doing photos. Yeah, you can get it. You can get through a whole week with a battery, with 1 battery. But yeah,
even 2 weeks sometimes.
Nah,
Yeah.
2 weeks. Come on.
Yeah.
you have to have a few days off to do 2 weeks. But
He spends 2 days at a time in the editing dungeon.
guess
He's
so,
like,
yeah.
oh, I have batteries for 2 weeks.
the editing
Ever
dungeon.
since this
Yeah.
third Andrew came along, I'm off the road more, which is great. So
Well, that's it. That's it. Share the love.
You know what? When it was raining, I was a bit he was lucky. So I called him the other day. It was a bright sunny day, beautiful sky. I go, how do you like editing now?
yeah, there wasn't
Yeah,
a cloud in the
That's
sky.
that's
that
the
day.
only reason why I called him.
Yeah,
just
no,
to brag that it's
just
a
to brag
beautiful
this.
day and you're stuck inside.
In the dungeon.
Yeah.
apparently.
dungeon,
In
yeah.
the editing. Did you see the sun that day?
I went out for 10 minutes.
Oh, very nice.
Let's be honest. Some days when you're editing, you don't. People ring you like, oh man, what a beautiful day, and you're like, is it?
Is it my
I'll
curtains
take
are
your word
closed?
for it.
Yeah, because you edit in darkness, right?
Yeah, no reflections. Can't.
Yeah, that's it. Favorite shoot of the last couple of weeks?
I've got 2 actually.
Yeah,
Fire
go
away.
for it because I can't think of anything.
There was one. It was the outside was amazing. It looked like it was straight out of Italy. It was like imagine the Godfather wedding scene, something. Just picture that vibe. The outside was amazing. The inside not so much, but the outside was crazy.
Where was that?
That was south,
Is that Heathcote? The one you said in Heathcote?
Karela.
Karela. Oh, Karela, yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
It was a massive place, and he goes, I think he bought it like that a few years ago, and he goes, I didn't touch it because he loved it. I'm like, oh, respect, I'll do the
Yeah.
same thing. And there was another one where I had one job, and then I walked outside. My next job was 2 doors down, so didn't even have to get back in the car, and I loved that.
It was his favourite not because of the property being nice, it's just because it was walking distance.
Yeah,
That's a win. That's a fucking win.
Not bad.
second time it's happened since working here, so it's pretty rare. So,
It is rare.
that's why I remember
There
it.
you go. Mate, how about you?
I don't have so much like a favorite property. It was 2 very busy weeks. With I did a lot of like the more standard shoots that we do. Let's say, I did have a favorite day, and it was last Monday. It was very busy, and it was so easy. It didn't make any sense how easy it was for me. Pretty much everything aligned, every single appointment, everyone was on time. Like all the locations were like 5 minutes from one to the next. I think I did 7 jobs, and I even finished early. So I love it when that happens.
They're the best days.
Mate.
Yeah.
These are the best days.
And on a Monday.
And on a Monday.
That's
yeah.
that's even more rare. No, that's good. Look, as we said last time, if we can line them up and get a nice flow of the day, it's awesome. And that's obviously
Sometimes you line them up and still it doesn't work out because someone can be late, or you go to property training and everything's
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the worst thing is that can ruin the rest.
Exactly.
Of the day.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So that day, like everything went perfectly.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear it.
Were they all empty apartments or like houses?
No, it was a mix of like it was apartments, houses, commercial. I did drone, floor plans. I did
just ran
everything that day.
smoothly,
I did everything for video that day, and everything went smoothly.
Yeah, that's the goals. They're the goals. I would say yesterday I had the opportunity to shoot some content for they're a scaffolding company that are sort of tier 2, so they're up there doing work for the New South Wales government. They're working on the Chifley Tower in the city at the moment as well. They've actually got 3 jobs, Chifley Tower, Pitt Street and George Street, but they're all along Hunter Street. So they said to me, is there any way that we can get a drone shot from George Street all the way to Chifley Square, just Chifley Tower? Anyway, he said to me, if you crash the drone, I'll replace it for you. So that was a no-brainer.
Did you get him to sign that contract?
No. Actually, I recorded him on camera while he was saying that.
Smart.
But that was pretty cool because I got to, how often can you fly a drone through the city? And you are allowed to. A lot of people think you can't.
Is there a height limit?
No. I mean, the rules are no more than 120 meters.
Yeah.
But other than that, as long as you're not flying too close to a lot of people, there are certain parameters you've got to stick to. But provided you're at a safe elevation, you can do it. It's if you can do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, like your abilities. Because a lot of people go, yeah, cool, you're allowed to fly it up. Oh, shit, I'm too close to a building or whatever. So, I mean, as you know, I've been flying for quite a few years, so I was pretty confident to get it done, and they spun out when they saw the footage. It was really, really good. I was quite happy with it too. On top of that, we went into construction sites and we were interviewing the workers, and they loved it. And it was just so good they were talking about the culture, the business culture, and, you know, what it's like for them working there. And all of them had this camaraderie, this brotherhood. Everyone answered the same way. And it wasn't that they were right next to each other and they heard. It was one at a time. And everyone said how much they love working there. There was one guy there working for like 13 years, another guy for 8 years, the other guy for 11 years.
Yeah,
so
wow.
it was, and they just absolutely loved their job. And we said, like, what do you love about your job? And it was the team, the people. You know, it was a brotherhood, as you said, camaraderie. The banter was, you know, they shared a few stories that we couldn't actually, although they shared them on camera, we couldn't actually use because we'd probably get them in trouble. But it was just so good to see, like, right in the middle of the city, there's so much chaos going on. They're up, you know, risking their lives because we're talking scaffolding companies, right? They're building up, like, towers. You would look up and get scared, and these guys are looking down, waving, like having a lovely day. So that was pretty cool. Something different against obviously the traditional stuff that we're doing. But yeah, that was probably a standout for me.
Did you
and
go on the scaffolding and
Not all the way,
look down?
but we had to go a few levels up because we wanted to get them in their environment. So that's the one thing with content lately that we've been doing, like anything, shooting like interviews or any kind of, I forgot the phrase. What is it called? Piece to camera. The terminology.
anyway?
It's too fancy for me. But anyway, the good thing is to get them in their environment. So, you know, a lot of people just do things in there. And going back to even real estate, shooting a video in your office where it's just white, it's very clinical. It looks like you're in a hospital. So good to get videos and interviews and stuff done out in the field, out in an environment that you're is your workplace. You did a shoot this week for the office in DY that they wanted to do some rental informational videos.
Yeah.
And they had a styled property. I don't know if you haven't seen this, but a sales agent selling a property. It's styled, looks really nice. They wanted to do some videos. We're like, why don't you use that property?
Yeah.
So they went and sat on the couch. Beautiful, beautiful frame. It was in a property, and they were talking about property. Like, how good is that?
Well, I think it brings out the creativity and productivity as well, because they did 3 videos and they managed to get all 3 one take.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
And like I planned to be there for like an hour, I'd say. I was only there 20 minutes.
How good? Really?
Yeah.
How good is that?
Well,
And sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
You're avoiding phones ringing, people talking, people walking into the office, all that stuff. They're not a factor in that point.
Yeah.
You're in a confined, controlled space. And the cool thing is I'm sure if you had more time or they had more content to share, you could do one in the bedroom, you can do one in the kitchen. It's
Yeah. there's
it's
a lot.
limitless.
And you can think of ideas while you're there.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. Well, that's when the creative juices start flowing, right? You were going to say something?
Oh, yeah, no, I think that especially with the content stuff, as we're getting better, the more we do it, they're actually getting better too.
Yeah.
Because they're getting more used to being in front of the camera and talking in front of the camera, which the first one is always, it's very daunting, the first line.
And I say this to every agent that does the first video with us. They're like, oh, I sound horrible. Oh my God, I'm cringing.
So Andrew's like, you do, but it's going to get better.
Yeah, that's what I think. Actually, I'm pretty raw with them. I tell them the first one's not going to be great.
Yeah.
The second one may not be great, but as long as the second one's better than the first one, you're on the right path. And ultimately, that's what you need to. They need to get their head around. You
And
know
it's,
what I mean?
it's,
not
it's
going
a
to be
whole
polished.
new thing for anyone, because even when the property videos started, it was just the property videos, and that's a bit more of a performance, let's say. The content stuff, it's more real life, essentially. So I think there's an education happening in real time for everyone right now, because that was not a thing 2 years ago, not like 10 years ago. 2 years ago, that was not a thing. People get in front of a camera, talking about the market, giving tips to their like their clients, any of that.
It used to just be an email with all this just a
Yeah, exactly,
bunch
yeah.
of text. One thing I mentioned to Gene that we saw yesterday was the way they deliver the property videos. What I've noticed lately, some of the successful agents in the industry, they're not showing and talking about a property just to show off the main features. They are describing the feeling or the action or the lifestyle event you can have in each place.
They're
So
giving you
you're
a
selling
picture of
the experience of the
Yeah.
property and not the
Yeah, that's a better way. That I chewed my words there, but that's exactly right. It's the experience, it's the feel. And I was watching this one particular video, and it was a simple balcony shot. Now, ordinarily, they're going to say this spacious north-facing balcony, and like just typical, right? But this guy said, check out the balcony. How cool would that be on a Friday afternoon, finishing, watching the sun go down while you're having a few drinks with your mates? Footy's about to go on. So the way he just explained it, it wasn't just a balcony. It was like an experience. It was an interaction and
love
a
that, yeah.
feeling. I think videos, if they go, that's my personal thoughts, that if videos are more done like that, there'll be far more engagement and intrigue in wanting to have a look at that property, because there's nothing better. I mean, we spoke about this before. Real estate's about emotion, right? It's about someone walking in and going, I want to feel me living in this place. and we'll touch on the topic of
Yeah.
styling too, because that's a big contributor. But how nice is it for someone to paint that picture for you? Because then you're buying in.
Yeah, 100%. I would love to do that, but I think a lot of agents that we work with, and probably a lot of agents that other people work with as well, they're just kind of in a rush, I think. So they want to get in, get out. They don't have time to sit around for 2 hours maybe to plan the shots. And
Well, that's the thing though. Like, I don't think you need 2 hours to do that. The main thing that I've noticed not every single client, there are a few, there are many exceptions actually, but whatever.
Don't name names.
I'm not naming names, nah. The number one thing that I've noticed though is like they come in and they go, all right, what are we saying? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
That's if the difference between preparing that, I don't know, like it's like, oh, I'm busy before. Yeah, but if you prepare it before, it's gonna take a lot less time now, like the shooting
Yeah.
process. So
And
you're
that
gonna
gets
save that
frustrating.
time afterwards. Yeah.
That gets frustrating for them too,
And
right?
you're gonna get a much better result too. And you don't need to like just prepare what you're gonna say before you say it. Even if you don't remember everything, I'll give a positive example. I don't like giving negative examples. Gene that you mentioned, he had everything written down when he came in, so he knew exactly what he was going to say. And it's a lot easier, even if you need to improvise. It's a lot easier to improvise once you know what you're saying. But if you don't know what you're saying and you just go for it, it doesn't work. It never works.
And most of the time after they watch the video, they're like, why'd I say that?
it's not what I pictured or...
No, that's not really what I wanted to say. And there have been instances in the past where the agents have said, I don't like what I've said. So we then have to remove that in the video, and they would have to do an audio voiceover. That's happened a few times where we've had to do a voiceover audio to replace the video.
Gene, for example, yesterday, there was something in that he didn't like. It's a lot easier to make edits on the go if you have everything else ready.
Yeah.
There was like one word that he was not happy with. So he changed it in real time, pretty much. He goes, I'm not happy with that. It doesn't come out naturally. We did another take, used different phrasing. That was it.
Yeah. If there's any advice we can give to not just agents, but
Anyone.
anyone that's shooting any kind of content, just prepare. Have written down even bullet points of the things that you want to convey.
You don't have to have every single word, as long as bullet points. They make a big difference. Big difference.
Because if you go in there, I mean, you've got lights, you've got microphones, you've got cameras. It's already, for someone that doesn't do it too often, and we've experienced that, even trying to do some fun content here in the studio, there's a moment of like, oh, shit,
is overwhelming.
What was,
No, and you
absolutely.
know what?
And how many outtakes have we taken?
Yeah. Forget about it. And sometimes it can be this one word that's not very easy to pronounce, and then once you go and shoot, that's the one word that you can't say. So if you know what you're going to say beforehand, and you go, let's try it, let's work on that a bit. Just say that word 10 times, until you get it perfect and it flows, you know.
Or choose a word.
Or choose another word,
that you're more
if that doesn't
comfortable
work with.
One word that I can't say very well was trajectory.
Trajectory.
For some reason, it trips me up, so I find another word. Anyway, cool. So that's some great advice, and I think it's super important to have that that comfort when you're delivering the message, because when you see people talking in front of a camera and you can tell they're memorizing what they've typed up. There is no emotion. There's no connection with the person that's watching. And ultimately, that's why you do the video. That's why you're talking to, because you're not talking to a camera. You're actually talking to a person. And I mean, it's obviously our job as well to be able to tell them, like, don't look at a camera like you're going to be a
We're
TV
just more of a
commercial.
technical
Yeah.
side, yeah.
Look at it like you are looking at a buyer or a tenant or a prospective client.
My usual advice is don't look in the lens, look on my forehead. Because it still looks like you're looking at the lens, but you're looking at the person that's filming. So
Do you have anything written on your forehead?
No.
Okay.
But it's like just look above the camera. It looks like you're looking at the camera, but you're looking at me, essentially.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're talking
To
'cause you're
someone.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's
talk
a
to
good
me,
point.
not to the camera, So that's
That's a good point.
yeah.
I would say videos that I would love to see, which I don't think I've seen many of them, is if you picture like Getaway or Better Homes and Gardens and stuff like that. You know how they do travel videos, they go around the world and you see them going from their hotel room, then they walk around the street, come back to their hotel room, they go on the pool. I would love to do videos like that. Like, and that's why I said maybe it will take 2 hours, because it's not just in one location.
Yeah.
You walk around the street with them. They go buy a pie or something just
Yeah.
from the local cafe.
So it's
It's
a whole
also about-
lifestyle thing.
Yeah, that would be.
It's also about finding a balance where you're getting a good video, but you got to be able to give a good video to the client for a good value for them too. Because if it takes a lot of time for you to do it, then you have to charge more.
Yeah.
So that's and everyone has different budgets.
And you also fall into the viewer and the attention span they have. If they're seeing the first 10 seconds, 5 seconds, because essentially you've only got a few seconds to grab someone's attention. If you're eating a pie, hypothetically, right, or whatever it may be, getting a drink, and you're walking down the street, you may have lost that person from watching the actual property video. So I think it's for something that is, I would probably say maybe a nice prestige house or something that's has a lot more feeling involved. Probably an apartment, maybe not so much, unless there is an apartment above a shopping mall or a square or some kind of thing. But I think there's no rules.
Yeah.
Everyone sticks to this, like, let's go, welcome to this property. My name is so-and-so. And there's a phrase that everyone uses that only one agent really started it off with, and it's Gavin Rubenstein. This welcome home. Everyone tries to latch onto that. I encourage people to come up with their own phrase, because that tags them.
Yeah, like I believe, like, you see the property in the photos. Why not take advantage of the video to see the lifestyle and the feeling that you get from it?
I'm going to make that a reel, because there's nothing more real about what you just said. Why convey the video exactly like the photos when
It's just a
there's
moving
photos in there?
picture.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I
I reckon, yeah. Like, if you have an apartment on King Street, let's say, why not just have the whole video just on King Street?
Yeah,
You go
or
on
a lot of it. Yeah,
Yeah. Like, actually, the agent's staying with us and we follow him around.
Well,
I-
there's
like,
a lot. No,
to me,
I agree
would
with
love
you.
that.
I just said it, like, as you were saying that, I had this sort of, these buildings that are built on top of like supermarkets or stuff like that, and it's like, hey babe, we're out of whatever, and then
Just
you do
quick
like
rundown.
a speed ramp, pretty much like a hyperlapse of someone, getting in the lift, going down, going to the supermarket, going back up,
Yeah.
But look, these are all great ideas. The main issue to keep in mind is, other than the budget and that if you want to do that sort of thing, it can cost more, is that you have also the vendor to deal with. So you need to
true.
sell them on that's a good idea.
the
And
vendor
not everyone is going to. I agree with that, but not everyone is going to agree with that.
Because the vendor is the final.
Well,
say,
they're
pretty
paying
much,
for it
yeah.
too. And as you go back to what you said as well, time poor. Some people come in, they want to do their bit and leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's steer away from that. There's something. So in the last podcast, we mentioned about some stats about what we've done this year. Obviously, being right at the end of June now, we've shot just over 600 properties, which I didn't realize we shot that many. But when you start adding it all up,
It might be more than that, actually. Yeah.
yeah, that's
very rough numbers. Yeah.
It's not exact. I'll be honest. We did a rough calculation. Looked like it was over 700, but still, that's a pretty mean feat, and that's I'm pretty proud of that. Floor plans, which we started doing from this year in house, we've done just under 140, and there's been just under about 70 videos that we've done as well, and that's property videos only. If you add the content stuff we're doing for clients now, there's well over 100. So well done. Well done for our first 6 months of 2024. I do think it's going to get busier for us. From a bit of feedback that I've heard, some people are waiting to pull the trigger for this whole spring, because traditionally and historically, spring becomes the hottest time to sell property or to buy. But we'll see, because I don't think lately historical and traditional trends have really been true. So we'll see what happens with that. No, like I said last time, there's no crystal ball. We
I
don't
think
know.
it's very
I
unpredictable.
think it's going to get very busy. That's the feeling I'm getting.
I bloody hope we are.
I have a reasoning behind it, actually, and it's interest rates, and not the fact that they're still going up, which is definitely an issue, but also the fact that has it been now 3 years since sort of that COVID time when everything went down to 1% and 2%. So there's going to be a lot of people that bought properties at 1% or 2%, and they're going to be hit with 8. It's like 7 or 8 pretty
Look,
soon.
already there are people that are
There are people
that are
already, but
bleeding.
there's going to be even more because it's.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 years in April or something since then, and usually it goes 3 or 5 years for the fixed rate.
yeah.
So if it started in April, as the months go by and the rates don't go down, they're more likely to go up. There is going to be people that are going to be looking to sell.
Yeah, time will tell. Time will
Yeah.
tell how that happens and what happens. Something we touched on before was styling.
Oh,
So
yeah.
again, getting a feel for the property. We have discussed virtual furniture, but we haven't discussed styling, real-time styling. We've got a special guest here today. Come and take a seat.
What do you think about styling, Mariano?
What do you think about styling? Nah. Styling, I think makes a big difference. Big difference. And we've seen some
Well,
impressive.
first things first, we can do VF for the photos, but Andrew can't do much with a property when it comes to the video if it's not styled.
It's true.
It is
And
what it is.
Someone walking through a property that has furniture instantly starts to feel, and obviously it's all chic furniture. There's some better stylists out there.
It feels like a whole. That's
Yeah.
for me.
Even
That's
I
the
feel
main
it.
difference.
Even,
Yeah.
Like if I go into for a job, I'm not even like looking to potentially buy. I'm like, I could live here.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah,
I see
with
the
this
couch
furniture.
and I see the TV, I'm like, that looks really nice.
It's true.
There's a couple of things for me. The most important one, you go to a vacant property, first thing you notice is the echo, Like you go in and it's an empty space. As soon as like you get a couch in there, a couple of rugs, and then it actually sounds like a place where people live, that's the first thing.
Plus, when it's empty, you see all the imperfections. Like you'll notice a crack in
Oh
the
yeah,
wall.
100%.
You'll notice that the floorboards aren't equal, and you're like, but if you're noticing the styling, that's all in the background.
It's
and
so true. It is very, very true. Yeah, there's not much really more to talk about, but that obviously is a added bonus, especially when you're doing a video.
I have one more thing. That's for the stylist, by the way. Can I look directly in the camera?
Yes, far away.
All right, you're styling the property, you're doing everything perfect. Could you please make sure every single tap is straight as well? Because mate, you've done everything. You've done everything else. Like you
that
go
your
into a
pet?
bathroom, you make everything look perfect, and then there is a tap that's like,
Is that your pet peeve?
yeah, it's
My-
like a job half done.
My pet peeve. Wow, that's. My pet peeve is no lamps working because there's no extension cords.
Well, I did one the other day, and I tried to turn them on. I go, they don't work, and I check. It was a US plug. I don't even know where you got these. Like,
Oh, wow.
Where'd you get US lamps? I'm curious.
Timu.
Probably.
Yeah. No, there's a few. Again, I think the stylists that are doing a cracker job, they're the ones who go through and check everything. Again, there's different levels of quality when it comes to that. I've seen a few properties that are styled and it looks like just the catalog of IKEA
Oh yeah, no.
or Kmart. Kmart even. Nothing wrong
I know
with
what you're
Kmart.
saying.
But yeah, off the working topic. Obviously, we're driving around Sydney. We get hungry. Any good lunch spots you've seen lately? I know one. But do you guys have any?
What do you mean?
Who's
this
going
Thai place?
first?
No. We've discussed this Thai place, and we'll head back there. But you said you had one earlier.
There's this one
You need
There's,
to-
there's this one place in DY I always go to. Whenever I'm in DY, I always go. It's a Brazilian barbecue place. It's in like one of the shopping centres.
Is it? Do we have a name?
It's this place in DY.
Perfect. That's going to be the new phrase. Hey.
But I got it's basically like a HSP, but Brazilian style. So I got crackling pork, snack pack. You can also get chorizo. It was amazing.
Wow.
I loved
Wow.
it so much.
Let's go to DY.
And the sauce they
like
give you in it is, and it was only like $17 as well.
Right.
Can you take a
we need
photo?
at least an address, something.
A name, something.
Like even I said this Thai place in Glebe, but I knew where it was. At
I know
least.
where it is.
I could give you some
I can
direction.
drive there.
All right, Google it so we can put it up for everyone to see. There's a place called Old Mates, which is like a sandwich shop in I think it's still Earlwood, but right on the border of Earlwood and Marrickville.
It's near the Cooks River, right?
Yeah.
Around there.
I think it's Illawarra Road, right to the end of it, where Homer Street meets Illawarra Road, right there near the river. I've been once, and I didn't eat dinner that day. The sandwiches are gun, and the coffee's good too. So a place we've got to try out. You said there was
I do love sandwiches.
there was did you say there was
There was another. There was a place in Summer Hill as well.
Yep.
It was just like a pork roll place, but they were serving chicken schnitzel pork rolls, and I'm like, I've never had that before. Let's give it a go. I did have to wait like 5 minutes, but like, who cares about that? I'm just
Have you been
nitpicking.
to,
Yeah,
have you been
for
to
5
Marrickville pork
minutes.
roll?
I have, but like, I'm not gonna wait in line for that. You know
No,
what I
man.
mean?
You see the lines down the street. I respect everyone's patience.
But this chicken schnitzel I had, it was like sweet. The chili they put on it was immaculate. I'm getting hungry thinking about it right now. But that was pretty cracker.
Well, we're going to have to give that a go. And the DY one sounds good too. We just need an address. That's pretty much it. End of financial year. Obviously, this weekend wraps up the first half of 2024. There's not much else really to say. Let's hope that this week is a indication that things get better. No promises, because we've seen a lot of up and down lately. But yeah, man, other than that, we are going to enjoy our end of financial year with a few beverages this afternoon.
So drunk.
Just a anyway, we'll wrap it up there.
We got to keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, we'll keep him under
He's
control.
very impressionable.
I'm not even going to drive tonight.
Poor Uber driver. Cool. I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you, guys. Let's
Thank you.
enjoy the last day of the week, and we'll see you all again in 2 weeks' time. Thanks, gents.
Thank you.
I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up.